Sometimes, life has a way of keeping track of things, even when we think it doesn't. There's a kind of justice built into the way the world works. You may not always see it right away, but it's there. When someone tries to hurt you or make your path harder, the universe notices. It may take time, but eventually, those same people end up walking the road they tried to ruin for you. And when they do, they often end up getting hurt by the very same things they put in your way. This isn't about revenge. It's not about getting even. It's something deeper. It's balance. The universe has its own way of making sure everything evens out in the end, and no one gets away with cruelty forever. You, the one who's always felt different, were never supposed to follow the crowd or play by rules that weren't made for you. While others tried to control you, tried to limit your potential, life was quietly preparing you for something bigger. They thought they could pull your strings like you were a puppet, but instead, they became the example, the warning. The very people who tried to stop you, mock you, or throw obstacles in your way are now dealing with the consequences of their own actions. They planted negativity and jealousy, and now that energy has come back to them. They're stuck in the very mess they created, and deep down, they know it. They tried to break you. They wanted to see you fail, to watch you give up, but instead, they made you stronger. Everything they threw at you became part of your growth. Every challenge became part of your story, shaping you into someone powerful, someone sharp, someone unshakable. Isn't that the funny part? The very setbacks they planned for you became the tools that helped you rise. And now, they don't look at you with peace, they look at you with fear. Your presence makes them uncomfortable. Your silence speaks louder than words. They feel your strength without you saying anything at all. You've become the proof that everything they did didn't work. They see you now. They see your glow. And it scares them, not because you're loud or trying to get back at them, but because you've grown into something they can't touch. They realize now that your power comes from within. It's not something they can stop, and it's not something they can fake. Your energy changes everything. You walk into a room and things shift. People notice. Not because you're trying to be seen, but because you're simply being yourself. That's what makes you unstoppable. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone's permission. You were made to shine, even if it makes others uncomfortable. You were never meant to be liked by everyone. You weren't created to blend in or follow the crowd. You were born to stand out, to lead, to light the way for others who feel lost. Before you even knew who you were, the universe had already written your path. The things they tried to bury, the truth they didn't want you to find, are the very things that make you powerful. And now, you're waking up to that. You're starting to remember what they tried to make you forget. Take a breath and realize something. This isn't just a moment. This is a shift, a turning point. And if you've made it this far, it's not by accident. There's a reason you're here. There's a reason you're still standing after everything you faced. It's because deep down, you've always known there was more. More to life. More to you. Even as a child, you probably felt it. Maybe you were the quiet one, the deep thinker, the observer. Maybe you noticed things others didn't. Felt things deeply. Asked questions no one else seemed to care about. Questions like, why am I here? Or is this really all there is? Those weren't just random thoughts. They were signs. Early signals from the universe, pointing you towards something greater. Those quiet moments you had, the ones that seemed like nothing at the time, were actually important. They were moments of connection. You may have felt alone, but you were never truly alone. That sense of being different, of not quite fitting in, wasn't a flaw. It was a clue, a message that you were meant for something more. Life has been preparing you for this. Every strange dream, every moment of doubt, every time you felt like you didn't belong, it was all part of the process. The universe was getting you ready. People may have told you that you were too much, too emotional, too quiet, too intense. But the truth is, you weren't too much at all. You were just rare. Rare in a world that often values surface over depth. Rare in a world that's afraid of truth. And now, you're stepping into that truth. You're starting to see through the lies, through the masks people wear, through the noise. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's the beginning of awakening. Let's talk about what really happened. From the start, some people saw something in you. A spark, a light. And instead of supporting it, they tried to dim it. They didn't ignore you by accident. They targeted you. They saw your potential and felt threatened. So they tried to confuse you. They whispered lies. They made you question your worth. They laughed at your dreams. They told you that your strength was a weakness. They tried to shape you into someone smaller, someone quieter, someone easier to control. But here's what they forgot. Truth doesn't die. You can cover it up, you can try to bury it, but it never goes away. It waits. And now it's coming back. The real you is rising. Slowly, the fog is clearing. The labels they put on you are falling away. Every name they called you, every doubt they planted, it's all losing power. You're starting to see yourself clearly again. And when that happens, nothing can stop you. You are not just remembering who you are. You're reclaiming it. You don't need validation from the people who tried to erase you. What you need is clarity. And now you have it. You're no longer playing small to make others feel big. You're no longer hiding your light to keep the peace. You've realized that peace built on hiding isn't peace at all. So ask yourself, what lies have you believed about yourself? Who told you that you had to be less to be accepted? And are you ready to let that go? Because the truth is, the version of you they were afraid of, the one they worked so hard to silence, is the very version that's about to rise. The one who sees clearly. The one who walks with purpose. The one who can't be stopped. And here's the best part. This is just the beginning. The path ahead isn't easy, but it's real. It's yours. Every step you take now will feel different. Stronger, more aligned. Because you're no longer chasing approval. You're walking in truth. You're walking in power. And the world is going to feel that. No more dimming your light. No more shrinking yourself to fit spaces too small for your soul. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out, to lead, to guide. And now that you've remembered who you are, nothing can hold you back. Not fear, not lies, not the past. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're waking up. And what they tried to hide from you is exactly what makes you unstoppable. From the beginning, you knew things were different. As a chosen one, you noticed details others missed. You picked up on feelings no one talked about. When you walked into a room, you could feel what was really going on, even if everyone else acted like everything was fine. People tried to tell you that what you were feeling wasn't real. They said you were being dramatic, too sensitive, or just imagining things. But deep inside, you knew the truth. You weren't making it up. You were sensing something real, something deeper, something most people couldn't see. You weren't just a quiet or shy kid. You were watching, listening, and picking up on the hidden energy around you. You weren't confused. You were aware. While other kids were laughing without a care, you were feeling things too big for words. When someone wasn't being honest, you could tell. When there was unspoken tension, you felt it in your body. You cried when others didn't. You listened not just to what people said, but to what they didn't say. That wasn't weird. That was special. That was powerful. Those were signs. signs that you were made differently for a reason. But the world didn't know what to do with someone like you. So instead of guiding you, they tried to shut it down. They called your gifts a problem. They labeled you, isolated you, made you doubt yourself.
Why?
Because your awareness made them uncomfortable. Because if you ever realized who you truly are, they wouldn't be able to keep you small anymore. They saw your light before you did. That's why they tried to hide it from you. Now here you are, looking back at all those moments with new eyes. You're starting to remember the dreams, the feelings, the deep questions you asked even when you were young. The truth is, none of it was random. It was all leading somewhere. You were never just a quiet kid. You were a deeply intuitive soul growing up in a world that didn't know how to hold that. What they called imagination was actually your inner truth. What they ignored were the very signs pointing you to your purpose. The signs were always there. And now, you're finally listening to them. And when someone like you begins to remember who they really are, the world begins to change. Stop hating the parts of yourself that feel different. Stop trying to erase what makes you unique. Those things you were teased for, those feelings that made you feel like an outsider, those are actually proof. Proof that you were never meant to blend in. You were built to stand out. You weren't made for their mold. You were carved from a different energy, a different rhythm. And the world didn't understand that. So they called you names. Said you were too quiet, too weird, too intense. But it wasn't about you. It was about them. They were afraid of what they couldn't define. And when people don't understand something, they often try to destroy it. That's what happened to you. But your difference was never a mistake. It was part of your design. You were never supposed to fit in. You were supposed to rise above. All those moments you felt alone, that wasn't rejection. That was redirection. You weren't left out. You were being kept apart, protected from paths that weren't meant for you. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. While others got caught up in the crowd, you were being sharpened in the quiet. Every tear, every question, every lonely night, it was shaping you, giving you strength, wisdom, and clarity they couldn't take away. So now, don't hide anymore. Don't shrink. The very things they tried to shame you for are the very things that make you powerful. Your silence, your intuition, your depth, those are gifts. Sacred ones. And soon, the same people who made you feel small will wish they had your strength. And now we come to your heart, that big, soft, open heart. It's time to protect it. Because your empathy isn't a weakness. It's your weapon. From a young age, you felt everything deeply. You didn't just notice people, you felt them. You could tell when someone was in pain, even if they smiled. You could feel someone's energy before they said a word. And that made you powerful. Because people couldn't lie to you. You saw right through their masks. But that kind of power scares people. So they told you to toughen up, to stop caring so much, to stop being too emotional. But they weren't really trying to help you. They were trying to disarm you. They knew your empathy was powerful, that it helped you see the truth no one wanted to admit. But you were never weak. You were wide open in a world that stays closed. You were honest in a world that hides. You were kind in a world that uses kindness only when it's convenient. And yes, that hurts sometimes. You gave love freely, and not everyone gave it back. You felt pain deeply, and not everyone understood. But your heart, it is still your greatest strength. Here's what they didn't tell you. Your empathy, when focused and protected, is powerful enough to cut through lies, expose manipulation, and reveal what's real. It helps you connect with truth and walk away from illusions, but only when you protect it. Your heart is not for everyone. Not everyone deserves access to it. The takers, the liars, The people who only come close to take your light, they don't get to stay anymore. Because you've grown. And now you get to decide who stays and who doesn't. You don't owe your light to those who only want to use it. You're not here to bleed for people who wouldn't give you a single drop in return. You're not here to carry everyone else's pain and forget your own. That time is over. Now you're reclaiming your strength. You're no longer their emotional sponge. You're their mirror. And when people are forced to see themselves clearly in someone who refuses to be broken, they get uncomfortable. But that's not your problem. Your heart is sacred now. And like any sacred space, it needs boundaries. That doesn't make you cold. That makes you wise. Your empathy is still your gift, but now it's guarded. And when someone like you protects their heart, they become unstoppable. So, here's what you need to know. You were never broken. You were never too much. You were never a mistake. You were never alone, even when it felt that way. You were simply built differently, with deeper senses, stronger feelings, and a higher purpose. You weren't made for the surface. You were born to see beneath it. You were born to wake people up, just by being yourself. Everything they tried to hide from you, you're remembering now. Every part of you they tried to shame is now shining brighter. And everything you once thought made you wrong is exactly what makes you right for your purpose. You're not here to fit in. You're here to shift the room just by walking into it. So trust the signs. Embrace your differences. Protect your heart. Because the world doesn't need more copies. It needs you, real, raw, awakened you. Sometimes we're told that our dreams are just random thoughts, things our brain creates at night with no meaning. But if you're honest with yourself, you know that's not always true. Some dreams feel different. They're not like stories or strange images that come and go. They feel important. They feel like someone or something is trying to tell you something. And maybe, deep down, you've always felt that. Maybe you've always known your dreams were more than just dreams. When you're someone who's been chosen for something greater, even if you don't fully understand what that means yet, the universe doesn't just sit back and wait for you to figure it out. It sends signals. Sometimes those signals come at night, through dreams, through symbols, through powerful emotions you feel while sleeping that you can't explain when you wake up. These dreams stay with you. You might not know exactly what they mean, but you feel them in your body, your bones, your spirit. They don't fade like normal dreams. They echo inside you. People around you may have told you to ignore those dreams. Maybe they laughed or said, "It's just your imagination," but they were wrong. And maybe, just maybe, they weren't trying to protect you. Maybe they were trying to keep you from discovering something. Because once you start realizing your dreams might be messages, clues, you start waking up. You start seeing the world differently. You stop blindly following what people tell you and begin trusting your inner voice. The truth is, you were being trained through those dreams long before you knew what was coming. You were being warned, guided, and strengthened. And now, as certain events unfold, you look back and see how those dreams were connected to real life. The symbols, the strange feelings, the repeated patterns, they were all signs. They were preparing you for battles ahead, for truths you weren't ready to face back then, but are ready for now. Your spirit was being shown things before your mind could understand. And that's not a mistake. That's how chosen people are prepared. Quietly, silently, but with purpose. Those dreams were never empty or random. They were blueprints, like maps showing you what lies ahead. They were warning lights before storms. They were protection in disguise. Now, more than ever, it's time to remember what you felt in those dreams. Not just remember the pictures, but remember how they made you feel. The fear, the hope, the mystery. It wasn't meaningless. It was information. It was guidance. And while others forgot their dreams the second they woke up, you carried yours. That's not a weakness. That's a gift. A signal that you were always meant to be more aware, more awake. Another thing people might have told you is that the good things that happened in your life were just luck. They might say, "You're lucky you got out of that situation," or "You're lucky things worked out," but you know better. It wasn't luck. It was something greater, something you might call protection, destiny, or divine timing. Think back to the hard times you faced, the close calls, the moments when everything could have fallen apart, but somehow it didn't. Think of the relationships that ended, the jobs that didn't work out, the paths you didn't take. At the time, it might have felt like loss or rejection, but later you saw it clearly. Those failures actually saved you from deeper pain. You weren't just getting lucky. You were being redirected, recalibrated. You were being pulled out of things that would have crushed your spirit and placed on a path that would strengthen it. Every time you felt like you had hit rock bottom, something invisible was holding you up. Every time someone tried to break you, their plan somehow backfired. You were never alone in those moments. You were being protected because your story isn't meant to end in defeat. Even now, there are people trying to understand how you're still standing. After everything, they thought you would have given up by now, but they didn't know they were never facing the full version of you. They were attacking someone who hadn't even stepped into their true power yet. That's why they're scared now, because you've survived too much to be ordinary. You've seen too much to stay silent. You're not just strong, you're becoming unstoppable. The journey didn't make you weaker. It made you wise. The pain didn't break you. It revealed your purpose. Every setback was part of your training. Every no you received was pushing you toward a better yes. So no, it wasn't luck. It was design. You were meant to go through the fire, not to burn, but to be transformed. And when you were going through the quiet seasons, the lonely ones where it felt like no one understood, and even God felt far away, you probably wondered if you were forgotten. Maybe you begged for signs and got nothing in return. Silence. No answers. Just stillness. But now, you're starting to understand that silence was never punishment. It was a form of protection too. You see, the world is loud. It's full of noise and distraction. And sometimes, to grow into who you're meant to be, you need to be pulled out of that noise. The silence isn't a sign of abandonment. It's a space where real transformation happens. A space where you can hear your own thoughts, where you learn to trust your own instincts. During those silent times, people may have laughed at you, thought you were stuck, that you were done for. But what they didn't realize is that silence was your training ground. While they were busy chasing attention, you were building strength in the dark. While they were talking loud, you were becoming grounded in your truth. You didn't just survive the silence, you became someone new because of it. Someone solid. Someone who doesn't need the world's validation. And now, as you come out of that season, people are noticing. They sense the change, the calm power you carry. They don't know how to explain it, but they feel it. You're not loud, but you're undeniable. Because silence didn't make you weak. It made you sacred. It gave you clarity. It connected you with the deeper part of yourself, the part that always knew you were chosen for more. So here you are now, standing in a new place. You're not confused anymore. You're not apologizing for what you feel or believe. You've seen too much. You felt too much. And the dreams that once felt confusing, now they feel like keys that are unlocking your true self. The hard times, now they look like stepping stones, not roadblocks. And the silence, now you see it as sacred preparation. You are no longer just surviving life. You are beginning to live it with intention, with understanding, with power. You didn't imagine those dreams, they were messages. You didn't get lucky, you were protected. You weren't abandoned, you were being prepared. And now? Now you're ready for whatever comes next. There comes a time in life when you realize that trying to fit in doesn't bring true happiness. From a young age, we're taught that being accepted by others is important. We're told to smile more, to be less outspoken, and to go along with the crowd. The idea is that if we do these things, people will like us and we'll feel like we belong. But deep down, this doesn't feel right. It's like wearing clothes that don't fit. No matter how much you adjust, they never feel comfortable. The truth is, some people are meant to stand out. They have a unique spark, a different way of seeing the world. These individuals often feel out of place because they don't think or act like everyone else. Others might notice this difference and feel uneasy. Instead of embracing the uniqueness, they might try to dim it, making the person feel like there's something wrong with them. But feeling different isn't a flaw. It's a sign of something special. It's proof that you're not meant to follow the usual path. You're here to bring change, to challenge the status quo, and to shine a light on truths that others might overlook. This journey can be lonely at times, especially when others don't understand or accept you. But solitude can also be a place of growth and self-discovery. Think of a lion. It doesn't seek approval from the herd. It knows its strength and walks its path with confidence. Or consider a storm. It doesn't ask for permission to roll in, it just does. Similarly, those who are meant to make a difference often start their journey alone. Their strength isn't measured by the number of people around them, but by their ability to keep going, even when no one is watching or cheering them on. It's important to stop trying to fit into places that don't appreciate your light. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to stand out and shine brightly. Sometimes this means walking alone, but that solitude is sacred. It's in these moments that you discover your true self and purpose. Another aspect of this journey is embracing your curiosity. From a young age, you might have asked many questions, seeking to understand the world around you. But often, people discourage this inquisitiveness, telling you to stop asking so many questions or to accept things as they are. They might label you as overthinking or too intense. However, your curiosity is a gift. It's the tool that helps you see beyond the surface and uncover deeper truths. While others might be content with simple answers, your desire to dig deeper sets you apart. This drive to understand is not just about seeking knowledge. It's about finding meaning and purpose. When you question the world, you challenge the norms and open doors to new possibilities. This can be unsettling for those who prefer the comfort of the familiar. They might try to silence your questions to maintain the status quo. But remember, every great change starts with a question. Your curiosity has the power to lead to breakthroughs and innovations that can transform lives. Embrace your inquisitive nature. Don't let others make you feel like it's a burden. Instead, see it as the compass guiding you toward your destiny. Your questions can lead to answers that not only change your life, but also impact the world around you. As you gather knowledge and wisdom from your experiences, it's essential to share them. The lessons you've learned, the challenges you've overcome, and the insights you've gained are valuable. They can serve as a beacon for others who are navigating similar paths. Sometimes we hesitate to share our stories, fearing judgment or thinking they're not significant. But your voice matters. By speaking your truth, you can inspire, guide, and uplift others. Your experiences can provide comfort to someone feeling alone, clarity to someone confused, or hope to someone in despair. Don't underestimate the power of your words. Even a simple message can resonate deeply with someone and spark a positive change in their life. You don't need a grand platform. Your authenticity and willingness to share are enough. Remember, when you speak from the heart, Your message carries weight and can make a real difference. Lastly, recognize your irreplaceable value. You are not just another person in the crowd. You are unique with qualities and gifts that no one else possesses. Others might try to imitate or replicate what you do, but they can never capture your essence. Your authenticity is your strength. There may be times when people try to diminish your light, telling you to tone it down or suggesting that you're too much. But these attempts often stem from their discomfort with your brilliance. Instead of shrinking to make others comfortable, stand tall and embrace who you are. Your presence has the power to inspire and lead. Every challenge you faced, every setback, and every moment of doubt has prepared you for this moment. You've grown stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Now is the time to step into your power fully. Own your story, share your truth, and walk your path with confidence. In conclusion, your journey is unique, filled with experiences that have shaped you into who you are today. Embrace your individuality, trust your inner voice, and don't be afraid to stand alone when necessary. Your light is needed in this world, and by shining brightly, you encourage others to do the same. Remember, you are not just a part of the story, you are the author of your own narrative.